Okay, so we'll be doing a self-acceptance meditation today. You can begin by just noticing any parts of our body that may have tension. For me, it's my shoulders. So bringing some movement into our shoulders. If there's tension in the legs, if there's tension in the arms, you can contract those muscles, bringing some energy, some movement. Noticing where those aches and pains are. Recognizing the physical self, our bodily sensations, any aches or pains. Breathing into those, bringing some positive energy, some lightness to our body, recognizing this physical space. As we get ready to begin our self-acceptance meditation, we're going to start by just simply noticing where we are, this present space that we're in. The physical space, also our mental space. Whatever emotions, whatever thoughts, whatever cognitions we're bringing into this present moment, simply noticing them, observing them in a non-judgmental manner. Asking ourselves, is it beneficial to continue holding on to these emotions, these thoughts, these ruminations? Asking ourselves, what is it we want from this present moment? So let's begin by orienting ourselves to this present moment. Noticing our physical space. Accepting where we are at a physical level. We can notice any patterns in our environment, using non-judgment as a tool to bring acceptance and appreciation into this present moment. We often tell ourselves that we should live in a better house, or have a better position, or a better car, or a better this, or a better that. Let's notice what we have right now in this present moment as we extend our acceptance to these different aspects of our life. So on one level, it's the physical, the materialistic things that we have. Our clothing, resources, places that we live. Telling ourselves, I accept these for what they are. And we can repeat that in our mind, in our body, as we continue breathing in a natural, rhythmic manner. I accept these for what they are. And now, on a second level, we can notice people in our environment, our family, our co-workers, our neighbors, our teachers, our students. Noticing these people in our mind, how their lives intersected with ours. And whatever preconceived notions or thoughts that we have about these people. Whether it would be more beneficial to us if they adopted certain personality characteristics, or if they changed the way they believed or thought about things, that it would make our life better. Let us take some time to lend some acceptance into these people, noticing them for who they are, recognizing their faults and also recognizing their strengths. Bringing some acceptance at an interpersonal level. Not simply telling ourselves that it's okay for them to behave in whatever manner they're behaving in, but simply letting ourselves heal so that we're in a better place cognitively, emotionally, spiritually, to talk to these people in a compassionate, mindful manner. So as we broaden our horizon of acceptance from a materialistic level to an interpersonal level, we can even go even farther at a societal level, noticing trends in our community, whether that's political trends, social issues that are happening, issues of injustice, unfairness, greed, or any other matters which exist at a systemic level. We can notice in this present moment how it's impacting us, how we're feeding into it like it's feeding into us. Just sitting with those emotions. We want to develop a deeper sense of clarity as to how these issues at an interpersonal level, at an individual level, at a societal level, how they're impacting us, and more importantly, what we can do to approach the issue in a more mindful, authentic manner. So as we repeat in our minds, I accept these for what they are, it does not mean being passive in the face of these issues of injustice and unfairness. It means utilizing this present moment self, this present moment healing, to navigate a better course for what we can do as individuals, to more clearly highlight these issues and work towards enacting change. So let us take the time to work in becoming the internal reflections of the external world we seek to live in, as we delve deeper into this acceptance meditation. Right? So we oriented ourselves at an external level. Our materialistic things that we have, the relationships that we have with loved ones and with co-workers, acquaintances, strangers, and larger systemic issues. Now let us turn inward, as this is a self-acceptance meditation. We need to first ask ourselves, what is myself? Who is this self which pins me? This identity label, these multiple identity labels that I pin on to myself, my cultural, racial affiliation, my religious, spiritual identity, how I look, my physical characteristics, the clothing that I wear, the people I associate myself with. Is this myself? Or are there deeper layers to myself that I haven't uncovered yet? So So simply let these things pass through your conscious. And anytime your mind starts to really grip onto one thought, to one emotion, as we have done in the previous meditations, we can return back to our five senses as anchors to bring us to a more clear present moment sensation. Right, the feeling of our back against the chair, our feet pressed up against the floor, our clothing pressed against our skin, any noises in the environment, any smells, tastes in our mouth. And we can always go back to a deep, full inhale, noticing the sensations of the cold air, holding the breath in for a few moments, and a slow, deep exhale. So as we traverse deeper into these layers of our self, whatever that may mean for you, always have the breath as an anchor. So let's go a little bit deeper, trying to recognize what this self is. First, at a physical level, this body that we carry around. Is this our self? Our feet, which help us walk, our hands, which help us build things and work, our shoulders, our chest, different body parts which give us life and movement and energy. So let us repeat in our minds, I accept these for what they are. This physical body that I have, one component of myself, the multi-layered parts of myself. And also set an intention. Right now we're bringing a little bit of what we did in the previous meditation. But we want to set intentions. This is very important. So we broaden our practice from just this, sitting down, clearing our minds, into how we actually enact behaviors in our day-to-day life. So let's set an intention at a physical level. We accept our physical space, our physical body for what it is, but we also want to continue replenishing, nourishing our body. So take some time to set a goal, set an intention for how you would like to do that. I would like to go for a walk twice a week, for example. It's a clear, concise, concrete goal which helps broaden this mindful practice into a behavior. And again, just continue breathing at a natural, rhythmic pace. Bringing yourself deeper to a more relaxed, present moment, centered experience. Noticing the multi-layered aspects of yourself. This is all dependent on who you are as a person, what your philosophy is, what your worldview is, what your spiritual identity is. So let's go a little bit deeper. Having noticed our external environmental characteristics, and now delving inward at a physical level, let us recognize our emotional capabilities, another layer of self. We have emotional labels for ourselves as we do for other people. Right? We say that person is pretty happy most of the time, or that person has a very quick temper, or that person is pretty sad most of the time. So let's ask ourselves, what is our emotional self? What are the emotions that we communicate to people in verbal and non-verbal ways? Is it authentic? Is it helping our emotional flourishment? Are there emotions that we neglect? In trying to be happy all the time, we may neglect natural emotions such as sadness or anger, and vice versa. If we're sad, disappointed, or angry all the time, there may be other emotions such as happiness, joy, contentment that we may be neglecting. So as we notice and recognize this emotional self, let us once again repeat in our mind, I accept these for what they are. Continue breathing, repeating this in our mind. I accept these for what they are. And just as we did on a physical level, let's set an intention at an emotional level, a clear, concise, concrete behavior we can enact in our day-to-day life to broaden our emotional capabilities. I want to show more happiness to the people I love. And that's a clear behavior. I want to express my sadness through my writing. Set an intention for yourself so that we can broaden this practice in a more meaningful, authentic way, so it translates to the changes we need to make as human beings in our day-to-day life. Right? The practice is the easiest part. It's how we change our functioning, our behaviors. That's the harder part. So let us continue delving inward in the self-acceptance meditation, right? We need to ask ourselves, what is this self? This identity that we hold on to, these affiliations that we have, a student, an accountant, etc., etc. So let us go into our existential self, the values which we endorse. Another layer of ourself. So let us ask ourselves, what is our values? What are the deeper layers of who we are? We may say that we're a college student, for example, right? That's a surface level identity. At a deeper level, that means our value might be a commitment to knowledge, a commitment to wisdom, right? So that's the value which pins that identity label. So that's, if you're having some confusion as to what your values are, take a look at what endorsements you give at an identity level. Just notice these attributes, these values, which pin yourself into a deeper recognition of what it is you have to offer the world. Right? You may say that you belong to your family, you love your family. The value that pins that label is loyalty, is honesty, is community maybe, right? Those are the deeper values which enact into the behaviors. So let's notice this part of ourselves, these labels that we have, these values that we endorse. As we continue breathing natural, rhythmic manner, and we repeat in our minds, I accept these for what they are. I accept these for what they are. Just as we did on a physical level, and just as we did on an emotional level, let us now do that at a value level, at an existential level. Let us set an intention for broadening our values so that they match with the behaviors we enact in our day-to-day lives. So simply take some time to set an intention. For example, if family, if loyalty is a very important value for you, you may want to set an intention of once a week or once every other week, taking the time to take your family out for a walk in the park, to a new restaurant, so that you can grow together as a family. If education is an important value for you, if wisdom, knowledge is an important value for you, you may tell yourself, I want to learn something new every day. I want to learn about a different culture. I want to learn a different word each day. I want to learn a different fact about the human body. These are all examples of intentions, clear goals that we can set to broaden our practice so it reflects in our day-to-day life. Continue breathing, getting into a more relaxed, present moment centered experience. Let us delve even deeper at a spiritual level. Our spiritual self. And again, this is contextual, dependent on what your definition of spirituality is. For some, that may be their faith. For others, that may be the universe, the oneness of all human beings. For others, it might be the environment, taking care of nature. Right? Our spirituality is whatever it is that helps us connect with the larger sense of ourself. A more deeper, clearer purpose beyond just our individual functioning. So we've moved from our external self, our interpersonal self, our materialistic self, down to our physical self, to our emotional self, to our existential, our value self, and now we're at our spiritual self, right? This self-acceptance meditation. We need to notice what it is we're accepting first and foremost. What is our self? Who are we? What is our purpose? Have we taken the time to answer or ask these questions? And we may not have any easy answers, but that's okay. The first step to change is asking and taking time for these questions. Clarity is a very important part of mindfulness. So let us recognize the spiritual self. What is it that helps you connect at a much larger level? And what is this framework of self? Is it simply connected to you, your biology, your neurochemistry? Or maybe is your philosophy aligned with more metaphysical conceptualizations of the self? Connected at a deeper level, at a soul, spirit level. If you believe in that. Again, if you don't, that's okay. This is all dependent on what your spirituality is. notice these sensations. We can even move upward and downward, right? We can notice these sensations at a physical level, at a cognitive level, at an emotional level. And just as we did for the other different layers of ourself, let us repeat in our minds, I accept these for what they are. Continue breathing, letting the breath anchor you, letting the flow of the breath tune you deeper into a relaxed, mindful state. As you repeat in your mind, I accept these for what they are. And just as we did on the other levels, let us also set an intention at a spiritual level. And what are the goals that we have to connect deeper with our spirituality? Whatever that may be, right? That may be our faith, that may be connection to our community, our family, the universe. For many people, it's nature, environment. So set an intention. You can say something like, I would like to form a stronger relationship with the transcendent, such as God, or maybe even my own inner dimension. I would like to support efforts to take care of our nature, of our environment. Or maybe even I would like to take more time to figure out what it is that connects me. We may not have the answers right now. This is a lifelong learning process, and there is no safe destination. We're dynamic creatures, constantly changing. So having recognized these multiple layers of ourself, let us one more time ask ourselves, what is ourself? Who is ourself? Do we really know that person? And again, there may not be any easy answers, that's okay. Even if we don't have the answers, we can still repeat in our minds, I accept these for what they are. And we can repeat in our minds, I accept myself for who I am. And we can repeat in our minds, I accept my faults and my strengths. And as I said last week, each meditation, we're going to broaden our silent meditation portion. Right? Last week we did a minute. This week we're going to do 2 minutes of complete silent meditation, so that we can develop this skill, develop this practice. So now let's sit in silence with ourself, with our emotions, our physical self, noticing all of these. After 2 minutes of silence, let us come back to this present moment sensation. And again, it's natural for our mind to wander. That's okay. That's what the mind does. As we progress in these long periods of silence, we can develop our capabilities by using our 5 senses and our breath as 6 different anchors to bring us to a present moment state. Anytime a thought really starts to take us into a different fantasy, different past memory, we can simply start again with the flow of the breath, the inhale. And one more time, let's repeat in our mind, strongly, enthusiastically. I accept myself for who I am. Let it really resonate the different parts of yourself, right? Your internal self, your external self, your spiritual self. Let us form this conviction, this affirmation in our mind. I accept myself for who I am. And again, acceptance doesn't mean passivity. Simply letting ourselves not grow as individuals. Rather, it's forming deeper clarity of how we can approach these issues, enhancing our emotional self, enhancing our interpersonal self, how we communicate with people, enhancing how we can change the world by first healing ourselves so that we in turn become better, more capable versions of dealing with these large issues. So let us go back, noticing this self, hopefully having a better clarity, a better recognition of ourself, these multi-layers of ourself. Beyond just our affiliations, beyond just the labels, beyond our social media personas, the deeper layers of ourself. And accept these, set intentions for what we'd like to do to further enhance the self. And most importantly, translate the practice into our behaviors. We may have preconceived notions of other people, for example, judgments that we easily give to other people. We may want to take more time forming a deeper recognition, a deeper clarity about the different people in our life, the parts of them that we accept, the parts of them which we may wish they can develop, but ultimately accepting them for who they are, their faults, their weaknesses, their strengths, just as we accepted ourselves. Now let's bring some movement back to our body, connecting at a physical level, right? If there's still some aches and pains in our shoulder, our neck, or our feet or legs, wiggling our toes. One more time, taking a deep full inhale. That's the biggest breath we'll take of the day. Slow, long inhale. Holding the breath to a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And a long, deep exhale to a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For some of us, we can continue sitting in silence, strengthening our meditation practice. For those of us who are ready to now open our eyes, we can return to our external world in a more connected, mindful, compassionate, authentic manner, noticing the multiple layers of ourself and what it is we'd like to reflect into our world. So thank you guys so much. That was our self-acceptance meditation. As I said, we host these on Tuesdays at the Mindful Cougs Instagram Live at 12 o'clock, so that's Tuesdays at 12 o'clock, and on Thursdays at 12 o'clock on this channel. We also do Saturday morning yoga. Just stay connected with our social media. That's 10 o'clock Saturday morning yoga, as well as many more mindful events. If you just stay connected with our social media, we also have our newsletter sign up, so you can stay up to date with all of our events. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Stay well, stay peaceful, and be healthy. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.